Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Before we start off, I just want to give a big thank you to Eugene498 because he provided me a lot of cards that I actually needed to build this deck. For example, the cards that he provided me with, just temporarily lending it, are Yveltal-ex, Jirachi-ex, Garbodor, Seismitoad-ex, pretty much everything I needed to this deck. So big thank you to you, and because of you, I've actually been able to release another video today. So thank you very much. And with that being said, I'm going to go right ahead with the deck analysis. Pretty much our main attackers in this deck is, it's going to center around our Yveltal-ex, and Yveltal is going to be sort of a backup, a supporter Pokemon to help power up our Yveltal-exes. But essentially, Yveltal-ex is very, very powerful Pokemon. I have analyzed this sort of deck before, but Eugene498 wanted me to release another one in my channel. And there has been a rotation that's gone on, so we're going to be using some slightly more modern cards. This is mainly for you, Eugene498, but I'm sure this deck is going to be very helpful to a lot of our users as well. First of all, Yveltal-ex, very, very powerful Pokemon. The most common of his attacks that we're probably going to be focusing on using is going to be his Evil Ball attack, and in certain situations, his Y-Cyclone attack might just be as useful. Say, for example, if our Yveltal-ex is on the brink of death, we're going to be using a Y-Cyclone attack to sort of move around our energy. So Yveltal-ex definitely going to be one of the key Pokemon that we want to be supporting in this type of deck. Also, due to the fact and rise of Mega Manectric EX, and because obviously our Yveltal-ex has Lightning weakness. To sort of provide some backup supporter Pokemon, we're going to be running the Darkrai EX, and he has weakness to Rock, so that's good. Mega Manectric EX won't be able to just perform a one-hit knockout on him, and we're also going to be running some Seismitoad-ex. So again, he has a different type of weakness, so that's good. We don't want to be purely relying on our Yveltals because a lot of people have built a lot of counters to Yveltal-ex. Mega Manectric EX being by far the most potent of them. Definitely it's good to have a bit of variability with respect to our Pokemon. Seismitoad EX is definitely another useful sort of card to have in this type of deck. His Quaking Punch is pretty much going to disable our opponents from using any of their item cards. And if you're facing any other competitive player, Seismitoad EX is probably one of the most annoying Pokemon you could ever come across. So I'm going to be using 2 copies of Seismitoad EX. 2 Yveltal-ex. We're also going to be running 1 Darkrai EX. Yveltal with his Oblivion Wing attack, which is by far going to be the most commonly used attack of his that we're going to be using. It's going to allow us to speed up the rate of energy retrieval and load up our bench Pokemon. So definitely a very nice, useful card to have in this type of deck. Some other cards that we're actually going to be running is Jirachi EX. It has very, very low HP, but a Stellar Guidance ability comes in very, very handy in this type of deck. And although we are actually running Garbodor with Garbotoxin, you guys would be pretty surprised with respects to how often Jirachi EX actually comes through for us. So we're going to be running a single copy of Jirachi EX in our deck. Garbodor, definitely very, very, this is pretty much the nucleus of this type of deck because, against a Pyro deck, our deck would essentially be an auto lose, but thankfully for us, our Garbodor with its Garbotoxin ability, nullifying all of our opponents' Pokemon abilities, is going to allow this sort of deck to plow through a lot of decks. This is a very, very competitive type of deck. With the release of Mega Manectric EX, I'm not actually too sure how well it would do competitively, but still a very, very solid deck, and we're going to be taking a look at it today with respects to the rotation that's occurred. And with respects to some of the item cards that we're going to be running, so our A-Spec card is going to be Dowsing Machine. Definitely, you could possibly replace it with a computer search, really up to you, but I personally was leaning more towards the Dowsing Machine, which I felt would be more useful in this type of deck. So we're going to go right ahead and use a Dowsing Machine. Some other cards, we're going to be running 1 Energy Switch. I don't know, this sort of item card tends to do very well with Yveltal-ex type decks. So we're going to go right ahead and just use a single Energy Switch. I feel like definitely a very solid card to have, so why not have at least one? Some other cards that we're going to be running is Enhanced Hammer. We're going to be running a single copy of this, but this is pretty much to discard a special energy attached to one of our opponent's Pokemon. Definitely a Pokemon that goes very, very well with this is going to be our Seismitoad-ex. So if we use Enhanced Hammer, we're going to slow down our opponent while our Seismitoad-ex hopefully keeps bashing away at our opponent's Pokemon. Some other cards that we're going to be running is one Escape Rope, definitely just nice to have regardless of the type of deck that you're running, and a switch just to sort of help retreat our Pokemon, especially say if we're affected by some sort of special condition. So Escape Rope and Switch are going to serve those types of purposes for us. We're actually also going to be running Burbank City Gym as our stadium card. Very, very solid card that goes incredibly well with our Garbotoxin deck, which pretty much nullifies all of our opponent's special abilities. And of course, since we also have some Seismitoad-ex, that's going to make things all the more annoying. Of course, since we're running some Burbank City Gym, we're also going to be running 4 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser. Definitely very nice to have, especially the synergy with Seismitoad-ex is very, very good. So yeah, some other cards that we're actually going to be running is we're going to be running a total of 3 Ultra Balls. I mean, Ultra Ball is a pretty standard card that, regardless of the type of deck that you're running, definitely want to have a few copies of those. We're going to be running 2 VS Seekers. Again, I'm not really going to explain this card. I've explained it many times before. We have the standard draw supporters in combination with 2 Lysanders just to drag out our opponent's benched Pokemon in case we need to. We're going to be running 2 Float Stones. Most likely, we're going to be attaching this to our Garbodor in case he happens to be, say, for example, dragged out, or we happen to start off with a Trubbish as our active Pokemon. Definitely want to bring our Garbodor to the bench. And of course, Garbotoxin ability doesn't actually work unless we actually have an item attached to our Garbodor. So Floatstone is going to be serving us that purpose. We're going to be running a total of 3 Muscle Bands. We're also going to be running 1 Head Ringer. I think it's just a nice card to have just to slow down our opponent's EX Pokemon, especially if we have our Seismitoad-ex, because I mean, depending on who we're facing, especially if we're facing some sort of Mega Manetric EX deck, Seismitoad-ex is probably going to be our main active attacking Pokemon. So definitely a nice card to have. So we're going to be running a single copy of Headringer, and we're also going to have a total of 13 energies. So 9 Darkness Energy in combination with 4 Double Colorless Energy, and that's pretty much going to be the deck breakdown, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go right ahead and find us a random opponent to challenge. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's see how well this deck performs. But I mean, again, this is a very, very solid deck. By far the biggest threat to this type of deck is going to be a Mega Manetric EX type of deck. Okay, so looks like we get to go first, so that's good. Alright, so it looks like we're going to go right ahead and start off with an Yveltal-ex. Very, very solid Pokemon to start off with. May use a Professor Juniper, I don't know. But I mean, right now, we're going to go right ahead and use a Hypnotoxic Laser on our opponent's active Miltank, and then we're going to go right ahead and attach a Darkness Energy. And with that, I'm just going to go and end our turn. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I have again, I'm just doing a whole bunch of trading right now, you know, just so I can hopefully pump out some more videos for you guys as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so doesn't really look like a good start for our opponent. Pretty solid start for us. I mean, Yveltal-ex is just a devastatingly powerful Pokemon to deal with. So yeah, I mean that's very, very good. I mean, if our opponent doesn't actually able to bring out a bench Pokemon, this is going to be our game. And okay, it looks like he's actually going to use a Jamming Net on our Yveltal-ex, so that's going to lower our attacks by a total of 20 damage. I mean, that's okay. Okay, so it looks like our opponent's actually using an Empoleon Miltank type of deck, which is actually pretty potent. But I definitely think that this is going to be our victory. Pretty sure of that. So let's go right ahead and attach a Double Colorless Energy to our Yveltal-ex. Okay, it looks like I'm just experiencing a little bit of lag. So I'm actually going to go right ahead and bring out a Trubbish because I want to prevent our opponents from actually bringing out their Empoleon, because I mean that's going to cause a lot of trouble for us. So let's go right ahead and bring ourselves out a Trubbish to our bench. Hopefully we can evolve it to our Garbodor with its Garbotoxin ability as soon as we possibly can. So Trubbish, put that bad boy right onto the bench. Let's attach a Floatstone to it, and then let's go right ahead and use a Professor Juniper for some new cards at our hand. Okay, so I'm going to go and bring out a Seismitoad-ex to our bench, and our Yveltal, and then I'm going to go right ahead and use a Burbank City Gem. So we're going to be able to perform a one-hit knockout on our opponent's Miltank. So let's go and use an Evil Ball attack, hit for 60 damage, and our opponent dies from taking a lot of poison. Okay, so as long as I can prevent our opponent from really evolving his Pokemon into Empoleon. This should be a pretty solid game. That's going to be ours, and I'm going to go and bring ourselves out a Garbodor next turn just to prevent his Empoleon from using its diving draw ability. And I mean, if I can do that, this is pretty much going to be our game. Our opponent will not really stand any sort of chance against us. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't really look like our opponent's actually going to be able to bring out his Empoleon quickly enough. So I mean, that's very, very good for us though, because as soon as we bring out our Garbodor, we pretty much nullify our opponent's deck. So I mean, that's pretty unfortunate for him, but yeah, I think that's going to pretty much be our game when that happens. So since our opponent's actually going to switch out our Pokemon, and he's already actually attached a Water Energy to his Prinplup, I'm gonna go right ahead and use our Trubbish, as it does have the Floatstone attached to it. So let's go right ahead and bring out our Trubbish and see which Pokemon our opponent decides to bring out. Yeah, Miltank. I'm not exactly too surprised, but okay, so that's good. All right, so let's see what I should actually do right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go right ahead and bring out the Garbodor, no question about that. So let's go and discard ourselves a Dowsing Machine, and I'm going to go ahead and give up a Darkness Energy, because I mean, our Yveltal's going to be able to retrieve it regardless, so not too worried about that. And let's go and bring out the Garbodor. I'm going to go and attach a Muscle Band to our Yveltal, and I'm also going to attach a Darkness Energy to our Yveltal, and then I'm going to go right ahead and use a Professor Juniper. Alright, I'm actually going to go and place another Yveltal-ex down into our bench. Let's go and retreat our Garbodor and bring out our Yveltal, and then I'm going to go and use his ability to attach a Darkness Energy to our Yveltal-ex. Okay, so this pretty much looks like it's going to be our game. We've already nullified our opponent's special abilities due to the Garbotoxin ability. So yeah, it looks like our opponent actually gave up. And yeah, again, guys, an Yveltal-ex deck is incredibly powerful and very, very difficult to deal with. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.